with software, it's very different, where there's a huge investment early on in terms of getting growth, in terms of getting people, and then because the software can add another person without adding on a large cost, it becomes just very marginal to add another user on while they still end up paying revenue. That's why the exponential growth happens. And so he talks about that. He used PayPal as an example.
Yes.
In talking about how when we first started out, there was a lot of money spent in terms of developing the platform, getting the base together. But when we started getting our revenues, it ended up taking off, and it really paid back. And then that's when eBay bought it. They got a huge value add because it allowed them to be 10x, 100x better than their competitors. And then even now, the large value of that PayPal, that payments processor, is still seeing returns that you couldn't necessarily predict in the early stages if you were evaluating it like a different type of business.
Yeah, to me, it's interesting because if you know what the end game can consist of, like chess, yes, study that. But if you don't know what the end game could or possibly consist of, it's that mentality of go as far as you can see.
Yeah.
And then we'll reevaluate.
Yeah. And to his effect, he said that when he was writing the book, he was like, I didn't know that it was going to be even this big of an effect.
Right.
But like now that I can kind of see over the horizon, it's clear. And then that feeds into other businesses. What's interesting is they all started these businesses around the same time: LinkedIn, SpaceX, Tesla.
After that
Palantir,
eBay merger.
And they all really invested in the future, and seeing all of that pay out it's incredible.
Yeah. Maybe do one more?
Yeah, one more. What's the one that you were talking about?
I was interested in his take on globalization and how sorry, we have I get it. There's a funeral happening here, and so people are just flying through this red light. So I was about to go through, but I can't. Anyway,
what?
This idea of globalization, how going from 0 to 1 is different than going from 1 to n. In terms of, all right, where do I go? In terms of in the frame of globalization, the West going through an industrial revolution and going from nothing, right, from farming and agriculture to industry is a net from 0 to 1. It's something brand new. Let's say like China copying the West in terms of its advancements, going from agricultural to technology, which is what they have here. They're just copying the West. They're not actually making any progress, as what he would say. They're not making any progress. They're just copying.
Yeah.
And so there's not as much value there, because you're not actually going from 0 to 1. You're not like inventing anything. You're not making anything new. It's just copying. But the other part of my brain is like, I like copying what I like. So I think there can be a mix of those where you need to have some net new things, but you can also continue to use what has worked for other people as long as it continues to work, right? Just because somebody else went through that path doesn't mean you can't also go through that path.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's a really interesting point. I want to highlight again how technology is the study of techniques, and techniques are how we do things. When somebody's technical, they're very familiar with how things are being done. And I think when we look at technology right now, we associate the field of technology with a caricature. But when you look at it, it's very much about how you're doing things, and that's where technology lies.
Yeah.
We operate in the information space.
Right.
And so we're studying the techniques of how we do things with information, how we manipulate information, how we process information, how we use information to predict different outcomes in the world. That's a space that IT lives in. The technology is across industries. It's in sports. It's in the arts.
Everywhere.
That's a big thing. Leonardo da Vinci was a big technologist. He was very obsessed with how he's painting, how he's sculpting, how he's creating different inventions. But again, we are in the business of techniques, and a technology is a study of techniques, just like biology is the study of human life, just like psychology is a study of the human mind. technology is the study of techniques. And I think looking at it through that lens adds a lot more clarity to the 0 to 1. If you're just trying to optimize my techniques, then that's a fundamentally different game than trying to develop new techniques that have tangible use.
Right. And I think there is a lot more value in developing them from brand new, but there also can be a lot of value in just using proven techniques.
Correct.
And you shouldn't be ashamed, or you shouldn't be adverse to doing that, especially when other people have seen very large amounts of success doing that.
Yeah, 100%. You want to jump into this?
I think we should. Yeah,
let's continue it over there.
You guys can find that episode in the comment section or the description below.
Yes.
Where we're going to be on constants.com, and we're going to be going through a couple more of these 0 to 1 mentalities for running your business better, and looking at Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see you there.
Peace.
Yeah.